Hey everybody, it's your old buddy Uncle Rich, the truth detector. And guys, tonight we're gonna have a lot of fun. Tonight's show is show 264. Kurt, can you put up the bottom third? This is show 264. Today's date is June 3rd, and the name of the show is Branding. And guys, most people are going to say branding. You know, what do you mean? You're going to brand some cattle? No, guys, what we want to do tonight is we want to use word tattoos. And you're going to say, a word tattoo? What are you talking about? And guys, that's exactly what I mean. We want to use words that are short and sweet. Short, sweet, and to the point. The old bada bing routine. This way, people know exactly what we're talking about. An example, you know, like you guys remember Frank Lutz. You know, instead of saying the estate tax, he said use the term death tax. Why? To scare they're going to hit me with a death tax. No. They're going to hit only a slight percentage of the American population. But you know what? It's enough to scare the simple folk. And guys, before we really get into the heavy duty stuff, you know, like we always say on this show, smoke if you got 'em. Well, you know, it's legal to have weed in Canada. So we're going to start the show off with clip number 1. And this is one of those smoke if you got 'em moments. So Kurt, 01 please.
I'm going to have to confiscate that.
Oh, man. That's like drug abuse.
Dude, how did you even know we were high?
You told me you drove in from Vermont.
Yeah?
This is the Canadian side.
Weed is legal in Canada, so you really don't have any good reason to leave. A message from the Canada Border Services Agency.
So guys, now you know. If you're going to Canada, you can have weed, but you can't bring it into the United States. But anyway, that was our smoke if you got a moment. But really, tonight's show is going to be about message discipline. And, you know, like I said earlier, word tattoos. We want to keep it short and sweet. And, you know, the next clip we're going to play will give you an idea of how when Trump says tariffs, we actually use the proper word that describes what a tariff is. And guys, a tariff is simply nothing more than a tax. That evil word that every Republican has been born to hate, a tax. Well, guys, guess what? A tariff is a tax. And as soon as we learn to call it that, we'll be a step ahead. So anyway, Kurt, let's have clip number 2, please.
Not Republicans. And that is something else I have tried to impress upon the candidates. What about if the Democrats would call these Trump tariffs, which I heard today, largest tax increase, really, since 1993.
Yeah, they should.
Why can't the Democrats do what Republicans do, all get in a room and get a talking point that then they all say and call it the Trump tax?
Yes.
I want all you motherfucking for president to be saying Trump tax, all of you.
Guys, that's what it is. It's a Trump tax. And the thing is, the beauty of the whole situation is Bill Maher makes things happen. And in the next clip, you're going to see how influential Mark can be. And this is with Donnie Deutsch as speaking about impeachment. And guys, listen to the way he wants to brand the idea of impeachment. Kurt, clip 3, please.
You take the word impeachment and you change it to criminal activity.
Wow. Kurt, can you play that again? That was so nice, short, and sweet. Play it again. Go ahead.
You take the word impeachment and you change it to criminal activity.
Guys, that's all we want to do. Word tattoos. Pin it on them. Brand them. Make sure they can't forget it. And I tell you, we play the same games that the Republicans do. But the only thing is, we'll be honest. And they can't handle the truth. That's the problem. And guys, I tell you, tonight's show, we're going to have a lot of fun clips where we show you a lot of the simple folk that stand behind Trump, but we're going to show you some converts as well. Oh, you know the way we do it on this show. We're going to find out who's telling the truth. So anyway, the next clip we're going to show is we're just going to take it one step further and just show you how Donnie Deutsch, and guys, I think I have to give Donnie credit. I think he did his show before Bill Maher did his. But either way, it doesn't matter because the ideas are starting to get through. And as long as people can start to listen and start to hear, and this is the problem. When they watch Fox News, I don't even call it news, when they watch Fox, they get a limited variety of facts. So anyway, oh, my daughter Diana's calling me. Oh, guys, I got to tell you, I became a grandfather today. At 1:08 this afternoon, my daughter gave birth to a beautiful boy, 7 pounds, 3 ounces, 21 inches. So I'm a very fortunate guy. She's just she looked, I wish I knew how to show you this stuff. Hey, we got some help in the control room. Maybe my buddy can help us get these pictures on so everybody can share the joy of, I tell you, it seems like just yesterday I walked out of the hospital after my wife gave birth to her. But anyway, all right, I kind of lost track of everything. So Kurt, I think we were going to play clip number 4, but anyway, we'll show you how Donnie and Maher are on the same wavelength. So Kurt, hit it. 4, please.
You take the word impeachment and you change it to criminal activity. You go on the premise of basically, you know what, we know he broke the law. We know he was a criminal as far as obstruction of justice. We know he was a criminal as far as an unindicted co-conspirator. We are going to initiate and continue the ongoing Trump criminal investigations. Trump criminal investigations. Take the word impeachment away.
Trump criminal investigation. Criminal investigation. And I'm telling you, that's the way to do it. And why? We'll show you. When we play the full clip, you'll get the idea and the logic behind why you want to do it. But we'll wait until that point in the show. So anyway, we're going to, Bill Maher also said, go on Fox. Don't come on my show. Go into the lion's den and tell them. And guys, some people have taken Trump's advice and they've proven that on Fox there's a lot of propaganda. So, Kurt, let's have clip number 5, please.
Finally, new rule, grow a pair. Last week, the Democrats made a terrible decision when they announced that they had turned down Fox News' offer to host one of their 2020 primary debates, saying Fox was nothing more than propaganda. Okay, so why not go on Fox News and tell them that?
There you go. Go on Fox News and tell them that they're propaganda. And guys, guess what Christian Gillibrand did? She did just that. And Kurt, let's prove my point with clip number 6, please.
Instead of talking about Fox News, why don't you answer Susan's question?
The debate about whether or not women should have reproductive freedom has turned into a red herring debate. And what happens on Fox News is relevant because they talked about infanticide for 6.5 hours. 6.5 hours, right before President Trump's State of the Union. Mentioned it 35 times. That is not the debate of what access to reproductive care is in this country. It doesn't happen. It's illegal. It's not a fact.
Infanticide. It doesn't happen. It's illegal, but they keep saying it on Fox. And why do they keep saying it on Fox? So they can instill it in the minds of simple folk like Ken Johnson. Kenny Johnson will swear, when it comes to, oh, Rich, don't tell me. I heard on Fox News that as soon as the kids are being born, they're being put to death. And where did he hear it? And how did he hear it? From his dear leader. That's right. I know you're not going to believe me, but guys, Trump is such a bonehead that he actually said the same thing. And I know you're not going to believe me, so we'll play the clip for you. Kurt, number 7, please.
So in Virginia, the governor stated that he would even allow a newborn baby to come out into the world and wrap the baby and make the baby comfortable and then talk to the mother and talk to the father and then execute the baby. Execute the baby.
This is blatantly false. Don't say blatantly false. It's an out-and-out lie. Word tattoos. It's a lie. He lies. That's what he's good at. That's why he's the president. That's what makes him the king of cons. Because he's a better liar than P.T. Barnum was. He brings the people into the tent and he gives them the old double reverse. All right, look at that. Kurt's on the ball. And I'm telling you, when it comes to con man, if you've been following the show, Trump is the best. But guys, now you see why we have so much fun. And you're going to see that a lot of times you're going to say, Rich, you keep mentioning brainwashing. Well, that's garbage. People can't get brainwashed. Guys, come on my Facebook page. Come on my Facebook page one day and talk to Kenny Johnson or Uncle Joey, who goes by the name of John Wayne, or any of these local yokels. I mean, these guys don't know if they're coming or they're going. So if you want to have some fun, go on my Facebook page and give them the business. Because I'm telling you, it's sad the way they get brainwashed. And you say, Rich, come on, that's not possible. People don't get brainwashed. Yeah, they do. And it's very subtle. And it's very simple. And it's very relaxed. And it happens over and over and over. Fair and balanced, fair. And we're going to play you a clip, fair and that's going to come up in 2 clips. But first, we're going to show you how the brainwashing works. Kurt, number 8, please.
It was a nightmare, and the nightmare got worse
when a
fellow Limbaugh fan introduced him to Fox News. My parents ended up in separate bedrooms so that my dad could watch and listen to it. My mom ate lunch on her own in the living room. It really was tough. And worst of all, my dad was miserable, angry, and paranoid. For a long while, it destroyed our family.
And guys, this is what happens. This is what happens when people listen to things over and over again. They begin to believe it. And it's, like I said, we're going to have fun with Fox tonight. But first, we're going to show you Fox viewers at a Fox rally. And guys, just listen to these knuckleheads. And you know what really gets me? These people can actually vote. I mean, this is what scares me. So, Kurt, let's have some fun with clip number 9, please. Yeah,
It was a nightmare, and the nightmare got worse when a fellow Limbaugh fan introduced him to Fox News. My parents ended up in separate bedrooms so that my dad could watch and listen to it. My mom ate lunch on her own in the living room. It really was tough. And worst of all, my dad was miserable, angry, and paranoid. For a long while, it destroyed our family.
Kurt, can you hear me? All right. I don't know if Kurt can hear me. I don't know what happened, but could you play number 9?
I think with Fox, you get a fair balance. I think they do have people from the left on there as well as the right. So I think Fox is fair and balanced.
So guys, you heard what he said. Kurt, can you play that again, that last part, clip number 9 again?
I think with Fox, you get a fair and balanced. I think they do have people from the left on there as well as the right. So I think Fox is fair and balanced.
Guys, let me tell you something. When you watch Fox News, you don't think. You simply repeat. And yeah, that's why when I think, no. If you really thought, if you were a critical thinker, you'd say, hey, wait a minute. I ain't falling for this double reverse crap. If you don't show me some facts and some truth, I ain't buying your bull. And guys, the next clip is going to show you Fox viewers that have had the sense to come in out of the rain and get away from Trump. Although I tell you, some of them still like him, and some of them are still willing to vote for him again. I can't understand why. So I'll let them explain it to you. So Kurt, number 10, please.
Republican strategist and CBS News contributor Frank Luntz led a focus group discussion yesterday in Pennsylvania, and our cameras were there. Many participants once supported Donald Trump, but don't support him now. How did Trump lose them, and can he regain their support?
How did Trump lose them, and how can he gain their support? Well, that's the question. You know, that's the question, because the thing is, I tell you, once bitten, twice shy. So for the people like Kenny Johnson, who doesn't understand what that means, if you get bit by a dog, the next time you see him, you're going to be a little shy of him. You know what I mean, Kenny? But, you know, Trump keeps biting you, and it seems like you enjoy it. And you defend him. You hear him lie, and you go to his defense. And what's even worse? Then you attack somebody in the Democratic Party. Why? I don't know why. It's your defense mechanism. I don't know who programmed what into your brain. But guys, I tell you, go on Facebook, have fun with Kenny Johnson. And Kurt, the next clip we're going to play is number 20. So I just want to give you a heads up. And guys, we're going to go back to the beginning of the show. And you know, like we do in this show, we show you the little teaser clips. And then after the teaser clips, we show you the full length. So now we have the fun with the full length clips. And this is going to be from the Smoke If You Got 'Em. All right, can we go to 22A then?
Reason for visiting the States.
I was visiting my friend.
Who are you?
I'm the friend. We were both looking for me, but I was in the car the whole time, so he couldn't find me.
And what's with the smoke?
Hot.
Muffler.
And finally, a new rule: if you're a Democrat, the conscience of your party shouldn't be a Republican. Recent polls show that Democrats have lost their enthusiasm edge over Republicans, and it's no wonder. They seem to have shed none of the bad habits that hurt them in recent elections. The identity politics, the purity testing, the petty infighting. Losing to Trump should have jolted them into a higher state of seriousness, but it did not. 23 candidates, That's not a primary, that's an Avengers movie. Stop worrying about what your lane is. Everyone's focused on their own micro-targeted path from New Hampshire to the Iron Throne. They've all got their eye on the Pizza Hut at the end of the game, but no one's playing well enough to earn it. I say it's time we moneyball this thing. Democrats need a coach. And this year, I have tried to be that coach. You get invited on Fox News?
Yes, I do.
You do?
I do.
You should go. That's who needs to hear your message. You got to get in the bubble, man. It's about the audience that's listening to it.
No, I
At least they would hear the argument.
I will go.
Great.
For you.
I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, this has now become an issue for all the Democrats, with many going on Fox. But if I'm going to be your coach... Oh, wait, I have a whistle, too. All these candidates have to remember one thing. Winning is a habit. Unfortunately, so is losing. You know who said that? Vince Lombardi. And he knew two things Hillary Clinton did not: how to win and where Wisconsin is. And that is rule number one. Go where the votes are. Get out of Wokeville for a day. See what's going on in Mullet Town. You've already got NPR. Go on Fox. And you can't let Trump completely own the low road. If he's going to call people names, he should get it back. A few weeks ago, when it came out that he lost more money than any other American over a 10-year period, I suggested this. Elizabeth Warren, start calling him Brocahontas. Brocahontas. And it was just stupid enough to go viral.
And guys, you know, something like that will go viral. You know, Brocahontas, you know? So, but now we're going to show you the second part of that clip. And Kurt, we're going to play number 22B this time. So let's see how you do. Hit it.
Rule number two is, as far as the 2020 election goes, the sign-up period is over. No more candidates. We're full. Rule number three, Democrats must stand up to Twitter. Catering to one contrived outrage after another makes us look weak. Just because woke babe 99 gets mad at you doesn't mean the rest of America gives a crap. It's great you're gender fluid, but most of America thinks gender fluid is what comes out during a wet dream.
Let it go, Kurt. No, that's okay.
And for God's sake, stop apologizing for everything. I know more about what Democratic candidates have apologized for than I know their stance on the issues. 4, I want all Democrats to memorize these two words: message, discipline. Republicans win for two reasons: teamwork and cheating. And they are really good at both. Democrats snipe and bitch at each other. They're like that couple that's divorcing, but they came to the dinner party anyway. Not Republicans, and that is something else I have tried to impress upon the candidates. What about if the Democrats would call these Trump tariffs, which I heard today, largest tax increase, really, since 1993.
Yeah, they should.
Why can't the Democrats do what Republicans do? All get in a room and get a talking point that then they all say and call it the Trump tax.
Yes.
I want all you motherfuckers running for president to be saying Trump tax, Trump tax, all of you. MSNBC sometimes shows a montage of a dozen Republicans saying the exact same thing on a certain topic, like, gotcha! They all said the same thing. That's not a gotcha. That's how you win. You're afraid that being on message makes you look too much like a politician? Well, let me tell you something. The millennial vote will not be won through tweeting and emojis or calling your budget plan fire. They can smell desperation through their phones. So just cut the crap and just do you. Enough with the videos. People want an authority figure as president, not someone who looks like a 10-year-old in a barber's chair. Joe Biden gets a colonoscopy every year. If he stays the front runner, we're going to have to live stream that. From now on, no stunts. No stunts. Like 2 weeks ago when Congressman Steve Cohen brought KFC into the session of Congress to remind everyone that Bill Barr was too chicken, get it, to testify. You know, a picture is worth 1,000 words, but none of those words should be, look at that idiot. If you want to bring something nasty and greasy into a House hearing, subpoena Don Jr.
Hey, Don Jr. is going to get subpoenaed. They're all going to get subpoenaed. The problem is they're not going to answer any of them. And they think they're above the law. And they're in for a rude awakening. And this is what drives me nuts. You know, just be honest. Call it what it is. And, you know, they refuse to do it. But, you know, hopefully, you know, when you get people like Donnie Deutsch that start, you know, to have a brand, and when, you know, I tell you, when you keep it simple, even the simple folk can get the message. So, Kurt, number 24, please.
The man playing Frank Luntz used the word impeachment differently, which is what you're proposing this morning.
Yeah, and this is, I hope if we're going to cover this, by the way, on Saturday Night Politics.
There you go.
If Nancy Pelosi's listening, if Chuck Schumer's listening, if Jerry Nadler's listening, if the people running the Democratic Party, here is the playbook. Right now, there is this conundrum, whereas basically, do we impeach? No, we know that's a losing proposition, but we know Trump broke the law. So now you have everybody, the Democrats, but we have to do something. Here's the answer. You take it from a binary choice of two lanes, you create a third lane. You take the word impeachment and you change it to criminal activity. You go on the premise of basically, you know what, we know he broke the law. We know he was a criminal as far as obstruction of justice. We know he was a criminal as far as an unindicted co-conspirator. We are going to initiate and continue the ongoing Trump criminal investigations. Trump criminal investigations. Take the word impeachment away. It's a losing word. It's a 30-year-old word that does not help us. Change the discussion. Bad, fat impeachment. But even Trump says it's a disgusting word. It's a disgusting word for Democrats. Ongoing, as of tomorrow, there will be the ongoing Trump criminal investigations. It'll be about taxes. It'll be about the Southern District. It'll be about philanthropy. There's already two. You own it. Basically, we know what Mueller said. You take the W. You don't give it to him. You say, Mueller said he obstructed justice. There was criminality there. He couldn't prosecute because of DOJ. We got that. That's one. Number two, he's an unindicted co-conspirator. You make Trump say, I'm not a criminal. The word impeachment does not exist. It's the ongoing Trump criminal activity investigations. There you go.
And Heidi, this is the line that Nancy Pelosi has been trying to walk now for a couple of months of saying, we are investigating, but we are not pursuing impeachment yet, and that has frustrated some Democrats in her caucus.
I do think possibly Donnie's onto something here, Willie, because the Democrats want to have these hearings. They want to get the information out before the American people, and that's the problem, is that you can't put the cart before the horse on impeachment. What we learned from history with Watergate was that it wasn't until you actually had those hearings and you aired a lot of the information that the American people weren't familiar with that you could build that public support. And here's the thing that Nancy Pelosi is concerned about right now. Steve Kornacki had some great numbers on impeachment yesterday that showed that the public is kind of where they were right before Bill Clinton. They launched the impeachment inquiries against Bill Clinton, which was that the majority of Americans were against it. At the same time, here's what's very different about today. Bill Clinton had something like a 70% approval rating. This president's barely cracking 40, and 56% of the American people already believe that he's guilty of wrongdoing. So it wouldn't take as much of a push there once you get that information before the American people. The problem is they don't have it. And here's the challenge to your theory, though, Donnie, is that how do you get the witnesses? Because this is the whole problem, and the reason why we're back to having this discussion about impeachment inquiry is that the Democrats can't get the key witnesses like McGahn, and heck, they can't even get Mueller at this point to come and recite his report before Congress. So the challenge is, how do they use those tools of impeachment, like getting the grand jury information, without calling it impeachment?
No, it's the TCI. It's the word is criminal. It's the Trump criminal investigations. That's the branding. It's criminal down.
Okay, but how do you get the witnesses?
By the way,
how do you get the witnesses? They're just not coming.
By the way, whatever witnesses
subpoenas.
you do or don't get, that is the backdrop. By the way, also, you already have 2 wins in the judiciary in terms of subpoenas as far as what the documents Trump says. You continue a criminal, that's the word, guys, brand him, convict him already.
What's the word, guys? Branding. Keep it in your mind, you know, keep it short and sweet, you know, and it's just, you know, it's instead of saying impeachment, it's a criminal investigation. And the reason why you want to use the word criminal, you've already implicated the idea that he's guilty. It just makes the transition smooth. All right? So anyway, guys, we got, you know, tonight, if you noticed, we were having some challenges. We got Kurt directing, and we got Janine at the sound. So we got 2 newbies. So anyway, things are going relatively well, and we're getting through the bugs. But, you know, we'll work on it. And the next clip, we're going to go back to Bill Maher. And it's why you should go on Fox. And I tell you, there's a good lesson to be learned here. So, Kurt, we want clip number 25A, please. And Janina, not too much volume out here. You almost killed me the last time.
And finally, new rule, grow a pair. Last week, the Democrats made a terrible decision when they announced that they had turned down Fox News' offer to host one of their 2020 primary debates, saying Fox was nothing more than propaganda. Okay. So why not go on Fox News and tell them that? You want to be in the big... That's right, right on. You want to be in the big leagues, but you refuse to ever play an away game? You don't like the questions that Fox News might ask, so you're deciding to not take any questions at all? How very Trump of you. This is a fundamental problem with the Democratic Party. They look weak, running from a fight when they should be in there throwing punches.
There you go.
Republicans never shy away from coming on this show, and they come with a smile on their face, despite knowing that the only people in the crowd cheering them on are the 3 campaign aides they brought with them.
Bingo!
The ones who eat all the food in the green room. The audience is against them, and they don't care, because it's an opportunity to expose people to your side of the story. So what if there are groans? Groans won't kill you. Political TV is full of groans and eye rolls and pouting and, worst of all, Tucker face. Never want to get Tucker face. I used to think the reason I never saw prominent Democrats on Fox News was they weren't invited. I thought they were banned from appearing on the network like I am. But no, they're invited. They just don't go. Well, I shouldn't say all. Here's a list of prominent Democrats who do frequently go on Fox News. Congressman Eric Swalwell. That's it. Really, that's the list. Last week, Swalwell tweeted, "I've been on nearly every Fox show. I don't go on because I accept the views of their hosts, but because I respect that some of their viewers are open-minded." Exactly. 19% of all voters, Democrat and Republican, said Fox News was their main source of campaign news.
19%.
That's ahead of every other source. It's more than ABC, CBS, and NBC combined.
Look at that.
Only 3% of voters said their main source was the New York Times, and they were lying. Look, we all know Fox News sucks. It's ruined Facebook and Thanksgiving and turned your grandpa into a dick.
The conservative media turned your grandfather into a dick. And guys, we're going to play the clip with brainwashing of my father. But first, we're going to finish this clip with Bill Maher. And I tell you, we just can't help but have fun. So, Kurt, number 25B, please.
Look, we all know Fox News sucks. It's ruined Facebook and Thanksgiving and turned your grandpa into a dick. He's crabby now, and he only leaves the house once every 4 years. But unfortunately, it's to vote. You have to get inside the bubble. You call yourself the resistance, then fight behind enemy lines. That's what a resistance does. That's the difference between blowing up a tank and tweeting about it. Get out of your echo chamber and infiltrate theirs. I noticed that the new tradition for Democrats who've just announced they're running is to go on Rachel Maddow. Spoiler alert, you already have her vote. Jesus, Democrats, they're like Mormons if Mormons only proselytized in Utah. But Mormons for 100 years have gone all over the world with one goal, to spread their faith to people who don't want it. To spread it to savages with their own weird gods, like the French. But that's how you build a brand. Look at Samoa. 15% of it is Mormon. Do they look Mormon? Was it an easy sell when the guys with white shirts and clip-on ties showed up? You know, President Kennedy said, "We choose to go to the moon, not because it's easy, but because it's hard." Where's that kind of Democrat today? So what if Fox News is fixed? Life is fixed. You want a fair shake? Go get a massage with Robert Kraft.
Oh, he's terrific, isn't he? But guys, you know, like he said, go into the lion's den. Go into enemy territory and speak your piece. And I want to tell you, Christian Gillibrand, when she went in to talk to Fox, she didn't back down at all. She more or less told Chris Wallace, "Hey, Chris, screw you. I'm here. I'm going to speak my piece." And guys, I tell you, she was cooking. So Kurt, number 26, please.
Craig, who is a retired nurse, not news. Susan.
Thank you, Chris. As Chris said, I am a retired nurse, pediatrics actually, so I dealt quite a bit with preemies. What I'm asking you, Senator, is what is your position on late-term abortion or last trimester abortions?
Well, thank you for serving our community and helping our babies, particularly our preemies who deeply need the medical care they have. My view on women's reproductive freedom is that it should be a woman's decision to make these most intimate life and death decisions for themselves. A woman should be able to decide when she's having children, how many children she's having, and under what circumstances she's having. And what we have created, unfortunately, is a false choice and a false narrative. And Chris, I want to talk about the role that Fox News plays in this because it's a problem. I can tell you, before President Trump gave his State of the Union, Fox News talked about infanticide. Infanticide doesn't exist.
Senator, I just want to say we brought you here for an hour. We have given you, we're treating you very fairly.
Too bad.
I understand that maybe to make your credentials with the Democrats who are not appearing on Fox News, you're going to attack us. I'm not sure it's frankly very polite when we've invited you to be here.
I will do it in a polite way.
Well, I just think, why don't we instead of talking about Fox News, why don't you answer Susan's question?
The debate about whether or not women should have reproductive freedom has turned into a red herring debate. And what happens on Fox News is relevant because they talked about infanticide for 6.5 hours. 6.5 hours, right before President Trump's State of the Union. Mentioned it 35 times. That is not the debate of what access to reproductive care is in this country. It doesn't happen. It's illegal. It's not a fact.
It's illegal.
And I believe all of us have a responsibility to talk about the facts.
Talk about the facts. You talk about the facts, the people on Fox won't know what you're talking about. That's the problem. And they're like thinking. They only look at things that suit the way they feel, the way they think. That's why you get people like Marty and Dave Straight that don't know if they're coming or going. But that's why we're here to tell people the truth. And the next clip, we're going to show you our dear leader make a fool out of himself at a Trump rally where he claims, he has the audacity to claim that doctors and parents kill a baby after it's born. Have you ever heard of anything so ridiculous? But you know what? The people that watch Fox News will believe this type of stuff. Why? Because they think it's fair and balanced. They've been brainwashed. We'll get to that next. But Kurt, let's have some fun with our dear leader with clip number 27, please.
Democrats are also pushing extreme late-term abortion.
Are you nuts? Are you nuts? You can't tell these people.
Allowing children to be ripped from their mother's womb right up until the moment of birth. What's that all about?
What's that about? That's about you lying.
So in Virginia, the governor stated that he would even allow a newborn baby to come out into the world and wrap the baby and make the baby comfortable and then talk to the mother and talk to the father and then execute the baby.
Execute the baby. Can you believe this? Why would you do this? Why would you do this?
Millions of innocent, beautiful babies are counting on us to protect them, and we will.
Yeah, you're going to protect them. You're going to protect them in the womb until they're born. And then as soon as they're born, you don't want to know nothing until they're 18 and ready to serve in the army. Then you'll like them again, right? Oh boy, don't get me going. But I tell you, you know, you watch people like that and you have to say to yourself, these poor bastards are brainwashed. It's that simple. And guys, there's no sense me telling you about it. We'll play the next clip. So Kurt, 28A, please. This is the brainwashing of my dad.
Right-wing media tore my family apart, and my father's story explains how. When I was growing up, my parents were very open-minded. They were like hippies before hippies happened. They always stuck up for people if they were made fun of for being different. My father, who passed away in 2016, was a great example for us in treating people equally. One indelible memory I have was a day trip to a New York museum. It was important to him that we had culture. We lived in New Jersey, so New York was a short bus ride. We were coming out of Port Authority and ran into a black homeless man right outside the terminal. He asked my dad for some spare change. I was scared because I'd never seen a homeless man before. My dad stopped, though, called him sir, and gave him some spare change. That taught me to respect everyone. After high school, I went to Pratt Institute. My father, who worked as an electronics engineer for the government, retired from that and got a part-time job with a long commute. He started listening to talk radio. Talk radio then was Bob Grant, the openly racist and sexist, bombastic radio host. He was called the father of conservative talk radio. He would refer to black people as savages and once called Martin Luther King a slimeball. Very slowly, my dad began to change. He became more irritable and more judgmental of others. About a year later, my dad fully retired, and then he found and fell in love with Rush Limbaugh. Limbaugh had learned a lot of tricks of the trade from Bob Grant. He appealed to the older white guy who perhaps felt shoved aside as times were changing. Soon my dad was having his 3-hour Limbaugh lunches. After he ate, he would sit with a beer and listen to Limbaugh bloviate. Limbaugh must have said what organizations to join because soon my dad started getting lots of right-wing mail and then emails. This caused a lot of problems in the family. My dad became very opinionated and angry. Just say one thing that tripped him and he blew steam out his nose. He started forwarding us emails which were full of lies and exaggerations about President Clinton, or mostly how horrible Democrats were. I was living in New York, and when he sent emails saying that liberals hated Christmas, I was flabbergasted. I lived in the land of liberals, and everyone I knew loved Christmas. I had a lot of gay friends after college. When my dad first met them, he praised them, saying how cultured they were and how it was nice I was friends with them. When I heard Limbaugh bashing gay people, I asked my father if he agreed with that now, and he got angry and said, "I don't want it in my face." Wow, what happened to Dad? It was like some alien took over his body. We all begged him to stop forwarding us these emails, but he wouldn't stop. First, my brothers blocked him online, then I eventually did. It was a nightmare, and the nightmare got...
It was a nightmare. And guys, I could understand this. I mean, when I talk to Uncle Joey, it's a nightmare trying to explain global warming to him. He refuses to accept it. And you're going to find that most people that support Trump are going to feel the same way. Why? Because they have it embedded in their brain that it's a hoax. And even when you show them a chart from NASA that proves the globe is warming, they refuse to accept it. They think it's made up. The scientists are on the take. Please stop. But anyway, we're going to move forward with just a little more conviction in how they do it with the brainwashing with clip 28B, Kurt.
It was a nightmare, and the nightmare got worse when a fellow Limbaugh fan introduced him to Fox News. My parents ended up in separate bedrooms so that my dad could watch and listen to it. My mom ate lunch on her own in the living room. It really was tough. And worst of all, my dad was miserable, angry, and paranoid. For a long while, it destroyed our family. Then my parents moved to a senior community. During the move, my dad's radio broke and he didn't fix it. Later on, he went to the hospital for a kidney stone. And while he was there, my mom unsubscribed him from right-wing emails and subscribed him to sites like Truth Out and Alternet, and he read them all. And then when they got a new TV for the kitchen and my mom programmed the remote, he didn't bother to change the channel to Fox News. One day, he told my mom, "I like Obama. I think he's a good guy." And she was like, "What?" And as time passed, His anger lifted and he became happier. My dad began to love me to visit because I would dote on him. I laughed at his corny jokes that he told over and over. He loved to be waited on, so I would get him tea. I would give him the occasional chocolate, even though he wasn't supposed to have it. Finally, in his very senior years, he was at peace. My parents shared a bedroom again, and I had my dad back.
So she got her dad back, huh, guys? But I mean, isn't this a shame what some people go through? And I want to try to get through as many more clips. The next clip we have is going to be from the Young Turks. And this is the people going to a Trump rally. So, guys, you could see these knuckleheads, how brainwashed they are. Kurt, 29A, please.
Hey guys, it's Steph with the Young Turks, and I am here at the Las Vegas Convention Center where Donald Trump is about to take the stage for a Make America Great Again rally. The only plausible explanation that I could possibly come up with for why someone would come to a Donald Trump rally is because they don't actually see the same president that I'm seeing. We're comparing two completely different people. The question that I'm here to find the answer to is, where do you get your news?
Yes, well, I'm a Fox News watcher. And Sean Hannity's going to be here today, and I figure that's a twofer. I love Sean Hannity.
I mainly get my news from my mom, and then I kind of research it on my own and get my own opinions. And I just think like the media puts out what they want everyone to see. They don't really put out the truth.
I try and read CNN, and then read Fox, and then try and figure out my own middle ground.
Mostly off the web, social media, Fox News. There's a couple of websites that we'll go to that after you watch them for a while, you can tell if they're doing a decent job, a straight job of reporting the news.
You know, I'm a millennial, and I can see in my college classes, if you ask, a majority of the students get their media exclusively from social media, like Twitter.
Drudge, InfoWars, that type of thing.
I read The Guardian. If I want something to the left, I check Fox, and I've got Drudge Report and Breitbart.
So what are your thoughts about this sort of fake news narrative?
I think we do have a biased media in America. I think CNN and some of these other news outlets are fake news.
MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS.
So you think
New York Times and the Washington Post.
Because one goes for the left and one goes for the right. I don't think either one of them tell the whole truth. I mean, I think when the Times went for Hillary, like you have a major news corporation supporting the candidate, how am I supposed to believe that you're going to give me the independent, the real news when you're not going to turn it to support your candidate when you clearly come out to support somebody?
I always used to watch CNN, thought that was the real news. And it's not the real news because they don't tell you anything.
For the most part, I don't believe much of what I hear in the mainstream media. I go check online, see what they're saying. Normally they're close, but they're way off.
I think with Fox, you get a fair balance. I think they do have people from the left on there as well as the right. So I think Fox is fair and balanced.
You keep telling somebody it's fair and balanced, they're going to believe you. But guys, just in the case of being equal, now we want to play, Kurt, I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball here. We're going to play clip 30A so that we can show you the Frank Lutz and the people that have converted. And as we go out with the clip, you can run the credits and we'll go out that way. So let's have the opposite of what you would find at a Trump rally on CBS with Frank Lutz and figuring out what's going on. So Kurt, 30A, please.
Republican strategist and CBS News contributor Frank Luntz led a focus group discussion yesterday in Pennsylvania, and our cameras were there. Many participants once supported Donald Trump, but don't support him now. How did Trump lose them, and can he regain their support?
How many of you in this room are supporting
You
Donald
lied
Trump
to
right
him.
now? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many of you at some point in the campaign at least lean towards Donald Trump? Raise your hands. Almost all of you. So what happened?
What
He wasn't my
happened?
first choice, but just along the way,
You lied to them.
I guess I can say he's lost me. I'm not saying there's no chance of turning, but
Guys, I want to thank
he's
Kurt
become
for
outrageous.
directing. I want to
we all
thank
have
Janina
thoughts, but
and Elizabeth.
I think he speaks without thinking.
When he initially began to run, he gave voice to a lot of the frustrations that I was feeling about how government is working.
So
and more to the
anyway,
point, not working. But since
think
then,
we're about done
he's
here,
been
but
running
I
as a
don't know.
12-year-old and changes his positions every news cycle. So you don't even know where he stands on the issues.
We can get the sniffles out.
The last couple of weeks, he might be second guessing this because he even said yet like a week ago, it's
Hopefully
okay
we'll
if I'm
see
not
you
the
next
president.
week.
And then he's just